Hey guys, today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind recently, something that makes things difficult for us. In today's episode of When Will I Learn to Carry On? Roll it. So one of the biggest issues I face on a daily basis is the thing that makes me think that I'm maybe not cut out for this line of work. So I know you've all heard of creative block, and that's not a thing that means a lot if the end result of your photos, your design, whatever, isn't really going anywhere. The problem is when you put paying clients into that mix, things start to change. You have to perform. And the time that this really hurts is when you give up before you've finished. You put that camera down, you turn that computer off, and you walk away before you've done what you need to do. That's not good. There is a battle between deadline and art. But the creative block doesn't exist. You know what you have to do? You just have to keep going.
I wasn't being mean or anything like that, so it was a surprise, by the way.
I write, my quota for writing is 2 crappy pages a day.
Wait, so how many pages is the current book, though?
It's 672.
So Tim Ferriss, his quota when writing a book, a 600 odd page book, is 2 crappy pages a day. What? The reason that Tim Ferriss sets the goal of 2 crappy pages a day is because that's his living. He can't afford to have writer's block and just not make any work. So what does he do instead? Well, for me, the way I looked at it, and the metaphor that I've used, it's actually a metaphor from my life, is I used to work in construction. I used to work as a labourer. And there'd be days when I'd get, let's call it labourer's block. I'd be working too hard. I'd be trying too hard to move heavy stuff, to shovel quickly. I'd get tired, I'd get fatigued. And that's real physical fatigue. But I couldn't afford to stop doing what I was doing. But I knew that I could lower my bar, lower my standards, carry lighter loads, shovel slower. I'd still get the job done. I'd probably get the job done in nearly the same time. But I've set that lower bar. And that's important. That's really important. See, the assumption is that with creative work there's no fatigue because it's not physical fatigue. But that's a huge mistake. No one can carry on at full power indefinitely. You're going to burn out at some point. You're going to have to stop. Or you're going to have to slow down. So, it doesn't look the same for photographers as it does for writers. But what does it look like? Well, for me, it just means starting. Get some photographs. So I'll set up a backdrop and I'll set up some props. And I'll just keep plugging in props, moving stuff around, changing. And just at some point, you're either going to accidentally create a good photograph or you're going to create something that's nearly good enough. And that fatigue is going to sort of move out of your way and you're going to be able to move on, and you're going to be able to create, and you're going to be able to deliver to that client, which is what you've got to do at the end of the day. So the idea is not to actually create 2 crappy pages. The 2 crappy pages are the low bar, they're the pressure release valve, they're the permission to fail. And this idea is not forcing you to carry on regardless. It's not saying you cannot stop. In fact, that's built into the statement. 2 crappy pages. Finish the 2 and then go and do something else if you need to. You've already done what you needed to do. Do the smallest, crappiest amount, then go do something else. Go for a run, clear your head. Because then, when you come back and you write 2 good pages, or you write 12 good pages, or it just keeps flowing because you've already got that out of your system, the pressure's been released, then you can carry on. You can surpass your expectations. The point is to achieve something even when you think you can't. To carry on going past the easy stuff and even past the harder stuff. To keep going even when it stopped being fun. Which reminds me of a book that I really, really recommend called The Dip by Seth Godin. It's about perseverance, it's about pushing past the hard bit to where it's going to be easier again.
It grabs us. It is in the moment.
This is a great book. It's not a huge commitment either. It's like an hour and a half. I tend to listen to it every couple of months just to remind me to push through the hard stuff. I would recommend getting this from Audible. In fact, I'll put a link down below. I think if it's your first time as well, they'll give it you for free if you sign up, I think. But I was listening to this book the other day as I was plugging in these props and switching out the background. And that's where the idea for my next set of videos is coming from. So I'm going to do quite a few separate videos about the props, the backgrounds, how to build stuff, so tutorials on DIY backdrops, on where to find props, what to look for. I found a piece of metal the other week. I thought that's going to be an amazing prop, but it's just a big old reflective piece of metal, and it's not great. Not great at all. But then I needed some material, and that's where I found these. But anyway, I'll get into this more next time. But if you like the sound of what's coming up, subscribe. While you're down there, maybe just hit a like for this video, because if you've watched to this point, you must like it at least a little bit. So stay tuned and keep creating work, even if it's tough. See you later, guys.